Hello, my name is Leah. Today, we're gonna do something fun. First of all, I would like to apologize if you hear children having fun outside my window. They don't understand that I'm trying to film something right now. So, you may hear screams of joy and maybe some of pain as well. Depends on what they're doing. Anyways, a few weeks ago, YouTube recommended me a video from the channel Chris MF. I instantly loved her and her channel and her videos. One of them that I watched was about this quiz on greatstorybook.com where she took a writer personality test, and it reminded me that months ago Meredith Phillip Wrights took this same quiz on this same website, and I was like, that would be a fun thing to do. I want to take that quiz. I want to make that video. So here we are. Thank you to Meredith Phillip Wrights and to Chris MF for reminding me that that's what I wanted to do. I will leave both of their videos linked down below if you want to go check them out. They are both very wonderful author tubers. Highly recommend. If there's anyone else you have seen do this quiz video and I'm not crediting them, it's because I haven't seen that video, so apologies. But anyways, let's jump right in and figure out what kind of writer I am. I'm so interested to see what this tells me. First of all, we have the inspired writer. You are the free spirit of all writers. It isn't just the muses that have kissed you. You probably are a muse for others too. Creativity is the driving force in your life, what defines you. The eternal writer. Of all the writers, you have the strongest, most comprehensive grasp of writing craft. Others don't appreciate how hard you work at it. You make it look easy. I feel like I'm not going to be the inspired writer. I do value and enjoy creativity, but I feel like I'm a much more analytical type of person. Like, I was good at math in school. Shocker, I know. And I feel like this is the type of person who rides on inspiration. You know what I mean? I definitely don't do that. I feel like I have a decent grasp of craft, and I feel like that is what I lean on most heavily. So maybe the eternal writer, but I don't think that I make it look easy by any means. Then we have the logical writer. Logical thinking comes naturally. You know what you need to do, so you plan for it and do it. That is your strength. I feel like that speaks to my quarterly goals videos that I've been doing this year. I'm very much a planner. I like to do that, so we might be logical writer. The savvy writer. You are a writer with a strong business sense and a tact for creative pragmatism. It's easy to you and it's fun. This is what helps you achieve where others fail. I don't know about that. I feel like I haven't tested that side of myself yet, so I'm not sure. Then we have the closet writer. You've been writing all your life, but you have a tendency or desire to keep it secret. When you reveal this to others, you'll find that you have a lot to share. Maybe because I haven't shared a lot of my stuff, but I feel like I don't struggle with sharing my stuff. I don't think I'm the closet writer. The literate writer. Of all writers, you are the most well-read. Leah in high school, maybe. Leah now, she tries. Leah now tries very hard, but we are very much behind on my Goodreads goal currently. Then we have the hesitant writer. Your greatest strength is your ability to observe and perceive what most people do not. It gives you incredible insight. Your hesitance is about being mindful. I do find it easy to really understand another person's perspective. Although the observant part, y'all, I am probably the most unobservant person that I know. Actually, that's a lie, but I'm very low on the list. The innovative writer. You are an eternal student of life. You're always looking for things to learn. You revel in the creative spirit. I do love learning, so maybe, but I feel like some of the others speak to my writing personality a bit more. I think out of all of these, I will probably be the eternal or the logical writer. So let's start the quiz. Take the test. What type of writer do you think you are? Cool, well, glad I read all of those. I'm either gonna be the logical or the eternal, and I'm gonna go with logical because I think that feels slightly more right. Are you an organized person? I prefer a creative mess. I'm messy, it's a problem. I'm pretty well organized. I have a knack for seeing how to quickly and efficiently organize anything. I think pretty well organized. Or maybe, I don't know. The key word here is efficiently. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I procrastinate by organizing when really it absolutely doesn't need to be done. So I think I'm gonna go with pretty well organized. Are you a technical or nonfiction writer? No. Are you an avid reader? Yes, I devour books, always have. See, I wish I could say this. I feel like I've lost that spirit that existed within high school Leah, middle school Leah. College Leah just couldn't do it. And Post-college Leah is trying to read more. She's reading more than college Leah did, but it's still difficult. I love to read, but I don't have as much time for it as I'd like. I like to read, but I'm more about action. I prefer to read magazines or articles on the internet. I think I'm gonna go with I love to read, but I don't have as much time for it, which is a lie, but also I can't pick the first one. Are you an artist? Yes, I'm a professional artist. Yes, I've always been artistic. I like to draw, but I'm not an artist. No, I don't ever draw or paint. Okay, so they're saying artist in terms of actually like physically making stuff, artist. I'm gonna say I like to draw, but I'm not really an artist because I do like this. The only thing is I can only copy things. I can never actually like freehand something. So if I'm looking at something as reference, like a drawing that someone else has done, I can do that. Fun story, my brother at one point got me to draw him a bunch of Pokemon from his book because I was really good at it. And then I found out that he was selling those drawings at school for like 50 cents a drawing. So I'm good enough to have sold my art that I copied. Are you a writer? Yes. Why would I be taking this quiz if I wasn't? Yes, my work has been traditionally published. Yes, I publish my work or plan to do so soon. Yes, I have published and I self-publish. So many distinctions. Yes, or I have been published, self-published, and I blog regularly. No, not really, but I have a story I want to tell. No, not really, but I have lots of story ideas. Yes, words are life. Wowza. Okay, I want to say yes, I publish my work or plan to do so soon because I do plan to publish my work. My goal is to be traditionally published. But if that never works out, I'm self-publishing it. Heck yeah. Not because self-publishing is a backup plan, but because, y'all, I put so much work into these, some people are gonna read them at least. I'm gonna say I plan to do so soon. Why do you write right now? I'm in a creative writing class / group so I can hone my skills and tell the stories I want to tell. So I mostly write for that. No. I make my living with my blog writing. No. I make my living or part of it with my fiction writing. I wish. I make my living or part of it with my nonfiction. No. I want to showcase my artistic abilities in a storybook. No. I want to bring books on the market as a source of income and will do anything it takes to get my writing abilities where they need to be to see that happen. Yes, that's the answer, but I'm gonna read the rest. I don't have much experience with creative writing, but I have a little person in my life and I want to create stories for him or her. No. I want to make some money. Are you in a writing group or class? No, and no thanks. I mean, I'm not actively looking to be, well, okay, writing group. I am a part of a writing group, so I'm gonna say yes. Do you have a website? I do. She ain't that pretty. I have a web presence to market my books, but it isn't going anywhere. I have a website and I blog to reach my readers and support my fiction writing. I have several websites and I'm always looking for new ways to improve what I'm doing with them. Yes, I have a website and it rocks. I couldn't get by without it. It's the cornerstone of all my book sales. An author website seems an evil necessity. I don't have one, but I should get one, I think. Don't have one and I don't want one. Don't want a website because it would take away from actual writing. Okay, so I do have a website, so it's none of these. I don't think it's an evil necessity because I like the idea of the website kind of being like the hub to find all of my different things. It's not going to be the cornerstone. Several websites I'm not going to ever have. I'm just going to say a web presence that isn't going anywhere. Like, I'm not going to be actively trying to make it like a source of income. Like, I'm not going to blog or try to like push that out there. The website is going to be more for like people who are already reading my stuff. How often do you write? If I'm not at the computer typing, I usually have a pad of paper and pen. I'm almost always writing. Not me. I write at least once or twice a week. No, I write more than that. I have spurts of writing, frenzies, and then dry up. I think about writing more than I actually write. Okay, well, none of these really feel like me. I write pretty much every day, but I'm not like this. But I guess that's like the closest thing to what my answer would be. What do you love to do? Writing the first draft, editing and rewriting, illustrating, outlining the story, coming up with the idea, all of the above. This is a good question. What do I love to do? What part of the process has the most joy? I think maybe editing and rewriting. There's something so satisfying about finishing a revision draft and seeing it look better than the draft before. Like whenever I finish my 0 draft, I'm like proud of my accomplishment, but I also kind of feel like crap because I know it's terrible. And like, yes, that's the point and I can accept that. But whenever it starts to look more like a book, that's when I'm like, okay, I love this. We're doing this. What is your weakest ability? I mean, illustrating, but I don't think that that's something that I need to do. For my books anyways. I feel like I'm either gonna say outlining because I think that I'm always trying to improve in that even though I do outline, or editing and rewriting because even though it's my favorite part, I feel like I don't have enough experience in doing that to really consider myself good at it. So let's go with that one. What do you love to do part 2? Okay. Creating strong characters, writing strong dialogue, building compelling plot points, establishing the setting, all of the above, none of the above. I love dialogue. But dialogue kind of comes from character anyways. I think I'm gonna go dialogue because I feel like that's where you get character a lot of times. And I really like writing dialogue where people just aren't saying the thing that they want to say, you know, like that subtext. I love doing that. What is your weakest ability? I'm gonna say establishing the setting. I struggle with this a lot, which sucks because I write fantasy. I think that my world building can always use more work, and I think that whenever I'm drafting, I always prioritize getting character across over actually fleshing out the world and stuff. And so that's actually something that I'm hearing back from some of my beta readers, is that some of the like magic system stuff isn't clear, like they aren't sure what the different like political dynamics are because I just like didn't establish those super well in the book. When do you write primarily? When I feel sad or upset, when I feel calm or relaxed, when I can focus, anytime, not sure, just sort of happens at certain hours of the day when I've scheduled my writing time. I think just at certain hours of the day, because I do schedule writing time. I plan out my weeks and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna write in the mornings on these days. Where do you get ideas and solve problems? On the toilet, in the tub, in bed, all of the above and more? Not really sure. I think I get most of my ideas while I'm driving actually, or like riding in the car with someone else because I'm just like looking out the window daydreaming, you know? But I kind of just get them anytime that I'm actively thinking about my story. Whenever I'm in that headspace, I just have ideas at any time. So I'm just gonna say all of the above and more. What is the most important thing? Character, there are no new stories, character drives story. Plot, without interesting action, you just have a character study. I think a balance of both is required, but character is close to my heart. I think a balance of both is required, but plot is close to my heart. Both are important. I mean, both are definitely important. You can't have a story without either of those things, really. I do prefer more character-driven stuff, so I'm going to say a balance of both, but character is close to my heart. Do you think about merchandising possibilities when devising a story? No. Yes, I try to consider all marketing opportunities. Yes, I like to dream about that. No, not really. I suppose maybe I should, though. This question disgusts me a little bit. That's for all the pretentious purist writers who only want to do it for the art. Which, I mean, if you got people to do the marketing part for you, all for it. And then no, not at all. I think no, not at all, or I suppose maybe I should. I don't think there's a should though. I'm the writer. I'm not a marketer. Unless I was self-published. If I'm self-publishing, I would need to do this for sure. So I'm gonna say no, not really. Do you feel able to properly market your book once it's available? Absolutely. I already start selling before it's available. Yes, but I'm still learning how to improve on that. Sort of. I have some ideas, but I don't know if they'll work. I have no idea how to market or sell anything. I think that I could do a decent job, but it's something that I haven't researched as much as I would like to. So I'm gonna go with sort of. Do you feel the artwork in a book or on a book cover helps sell your book? Absolutely. That's literally the point of a cover. Yes, artwork and design for a book is essential. I love books, how they look and feel. I'm a fan of book design. Yes, you can't sell it if it isn't packaged right. Not really. I think social media trumps how the book looks. I don't know. I don't really notice book designs, honestly. Okay. It's one of the yes answers. I don't think it's essential. If a book is good and it has like a crappy cover design, the word of mouth will carry it for sure. So it might just be a simple yes, because it does help sell it. I think this feels like me though. I do just love book design. I just love the aesthetic of books. That's why I have such a big shelf and why I can't get rid of books. So I'm just gonna say that. What helps you determine whether to read a book? If it's a New York Times bestseller, it's usually good. Not necessarily. I look around for what I want to read, and when I find it, I get it. Sort of, yeah. I kind of have like a running to be bought list in my head. If my friends are wild about a book, I usually read it too. Depends on the friend. If I know that my taste aligns with theirs, absolutely. Like if my friend Madison recommended a book to me, I'd read it because we have similar tastes. I follow a couple of online reviewers and check their list of recommendations. I mean, that's kind of booktube for me, I guess. I'm an avid reader of a certain genre, so I keep a lookout for those. I cannot breathe without some sort of reading material at hand. Don't even know where or how to begin explaining how I decide whether to read something or not. Okay, that's not me. I hardly ever read books. If anything, I prefer blogs and magazines. That's real life. No. I read a wide variety of books, blogs, and magazines. I decided what to read for all kinds of reasons. Depends on what it is, really. I feel like I mainly do just read fantasy and romance. I'm incorporating romance into my reading habits more. So, sort of that. I think I'm more of a mood reader, though, because whenever I'm in the mood to pick something new up, I just kind of like figure out what I want to read and then read it. And that usually is something that I already own, but if it's something that I don't own, I'll just buy it and then read it. So we'll go with that one. How would you describe yourself? A shy introvert. I generally keep myself and those closest to me. I generally keep to myself and those closest to me. Social media enables me to chat without having to be there in person. Call me out, why don't you? Oh my gosh. A social extrovert. I have a pretty social existence. Love to be around people, but I also like to get away and have time for me. Basically, a social person. I'm into networking for sure. I love to be alone, just doing my thing. Social situations are key to being a writer. Are they? It's how you observe and listen. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But a shy extrovert. I can socialize, but it's draining for me. It isn't my natural state. A social introvert. I love being around other people and taking mental notes, but I'm in no way the center of attention. I like people, but being in social situations is uncomfortable or exhausting for me. It's work. There are too many options here. Social introvert works for me. Shy extrovert works for me. Shy introvert is probably the thing that fits me best because I do have a pretty close circle. I don't like cast a wide net in terms of my social circle like in real life, but I do really enjoy talking to people and meeting new people on social media because that interaction doesn't feel as draining to me because I'm not like talking to the person in real life. So I do have a lot of writer friends online. I'm gonna go with that one. How do you determine a story demographic? I study the market and target a niche. No. I write what I want and hope it sells. Yes. I keep myself aware of what's on the market. It's in the back of my mind when I decide to pursue a story. What's a story demographic? Okay, I think I keep myself aware, but it definitely isn't like the driving factor. I'm just gonna say I write what I want and hope it sells because it really doesn't come into my thought. How's your spelling? Atrocious. I need spell check to get by. Honestly, same. I'm intuitively good, but sometimes make mistakes. I know all the spelling rules. If I'm not sure about spelling, I will just look it up. I have excellent spelling. Okay, I'm gonna say this and sometimes make mistakes. Practice has helped me be better at spelling, but I am not the greatest. How's your grammar? Also not too hot. I love language, not stiff grammar. I want to write books, not encyclopedias. I love grammar in its mathematical form. It's like music that way, a puzzle. Grammar is my playground. Grammar is very hard for me, but I think it's important. I'm just gonna say I love language. I'm bad at grammar. I'm not that great. I don't love it, but I also like, there's some things, I just write. I just write what sounds good. And there's certain rules that I know, but I don't like bother if I'm following grammar rules or not. I just write. How do you approach building character? Creating a strong character is really difficult for me. I get lost in the details, sometimes forget them. Creating a character is fun. I love the challenge, and the more complex they are, the better. I carefully design the attributes of the character before beginning the first story about them. I love doing this. Don't know. It's something I'm not really that good at. I never plan my characters. I let them tell me who they are. Not sure. I just do my best to pull out what I think is most interesting for that character. Sometimes it works well, sometimes not so much. I think for me, it's not like a huge, big, careful process or whatever, but it's also it's not difficult for me. It is fun and challenging, and I like adding layers to them, but I don't know for this one. I don't really identify with any of these. I do get lost in some of the like arbitrary details, like height and eye color and stuff like that. I'm gonna say this because it kind of, okay, creating characters is fun. I do love it, so we're gonna go with that. How do you feel about writing dialogue? Ooh, my fave. I have a hard time writing dialogue. Writing dialogue is the easiest part. I can speak, and so do my characters. I worry they sound like me. Okay. Writing dialogue is the easiest part for me. I do definitely agree with that. Whenever I'm writing a scene, I kind of just like write the dialogue and then fill in the stuff like in between it. Or like I'll be writing a scene and then I'll think, oh, I want this character to say this later. And so I'll just like skip down and write that and then kind of write that interaction. And then I have to like connect the dots between all the different like random interactions that I have in the scene. Anyways, how do you feel about establishing the world where your characters are? My characters live in the real world, so it's pretty straightforward. I love the complexity of creating other worlds. I want to create another worlds, but I'm not sure how to do it. I'm afraid it isn't convincing. I'm gonna go with that one. That's my biggest insecurity with fantasy that I write, is that I just feel like my worlds aren't as realistic as they want them to be. Do you join writing workshops, seminars, or classes? Yes, I'm doing it now. Yes, but not at the moment. Yes, but it's been a long time. No, not since I left school have I been in any kind of writing course. The correct answer is no, but I feel like that answer is supposed to mean that you don't want to do those things. But I love workshops, and I kind of am workshopping-ish stuff with my writing group. So I'm just gonna say yes, but it's been a long time, question mark. How do you feel about developing plot? I love setting up the beginning and have big problems in Act 2. Literally every single book I've written, my Act 2 is difficult. I have no idea how to plot a story. I can develop a story plot, no problem. Action and turning points are fun. I'm pretty good with plots, but I'm looking for ways to improve. I'm gonna say that. I mean, this one can work for me too, but I think Act 2 is just a beast, man. It really is. And then lastly, when do you write? Didn't we already have this? I guess it's a different form. Only when inspiration hits, every day at the scheduled time slot, when I've scheduled for it, but not daily. Every chance I get throughout the day, rather irregularly. Not as often as I'd like, in the morning, in the afternoon, late at night, if I'm awake. I just truck steady on. Not enough, it's never enough. Okay, too many options. I'm gonna say in the morning because that is basically when I write mostly. I do write in the afternoon sometimes, but it's usually in the morning. Time for the answer. What kind of writer am I? The eternal writer. See, I thought this might have been it. You are a writer who has a solid overall grasp of what it takes to be a successful writer. Your knowledge of the craft could fill books. Doubt it. The problem is actually doing it instead of thinking about it and planning for it, which is the downside of being generally well-organized, well-read person. I don't think I have a problem with doing it. Like, I definitely write very often. I write more than I plan. The eternal writer tends to be very intelligent and is capable of doing anything they set their mind to. The danger is giving up when you find yourself running into a wall, some kind of difficulty that couldn't have been anticipated. I mean, there is usually a point when I'm working on a draft where something's just not working, and I find it best to distance myself from the project so that I can come back to it with fresh eyes. I don't give up, I just set things aside. Eternal writers can sometimes take criticism of their work too personally, but you're working on overcoming that consistently. Don't give up. It would be a shame if you did. I think occasionally I can take criticism personally, but for the most part, I don't think I have a problem with that. So that doesn't entirely sound like me. Does this describe you? You feel strongly that a balance of character and plot is necessary to write a compelling story. Yes. You're very well read and have a broad spectrum of interests. Kind of, but also you get ideas from everything around you. No specific times of day and no specific days required. Any mood. Yeah. You have a solid understanding of your market, but don't consider yourself a numbers cruncher. I think that's accurate. I do think I have a decent understanding of marketing, but not like a great one. Any challenge faced in writing techniques are fun for you. I do like a challenge. So maybe I am the eternal writer. That was fun. I love a good personality quiz. Anyways, I hope that was entertaining at least. I will leave this website, the quiz, linked down below, along with those videos that I mentioned. So definitely go check all of those out if you're interested. If you do take the quiz, let me know what you got. And do you actually identify with what type of writer they gave you? I would love to know. I think I mostly agree with this, but there are some points where I'm just kind of like, doesn't quite fit me. But no category, especially when you're dividing people up into only 8 categories, no category is gonna fit everyone perfectly. That is all I have for you today. Let me know if you take the quiz. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!